Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. Today I will be erecting a plant shelf made out of these cinder blocks as well as these pine boards. I want to make a nice DIY shelf for my cacti and succulents. Plus I want to show you how to transition your succulents, specifically a jade plant, from indoors to outdoors, just so it doesn't get any leaf burn. You want to slowly acclimate it to full sun. So let's check it out. And what I first did is put them in full shade. So I placed some underneath these little planter boxes because this gets eastern morning light. So it receives light from the east. This is a south facing backyard, and way over here is the west. So I have them, or I started them right in this corner. And the reason why you want to start in full shade, because the plant not only has to adjust to the higher light, but also the heat. Jades love high temperatures as well as full sun. So if you brought them outside and just threw them in full sun, you're definitely going to scorch the leaves, but this is just a nice, easy transition. And I left it here for about a week, and then I just slowly bring them out each day until they are receiving, or until they have acclimated to full sun conditions. And you can see these leaves are getting some nice sun stress on them. So just for comparison reasons, for natural light indoors compared to outdoors, I'm just going to use my light meter at the foot candle setting, and it's times by 10 just because it's going to be a higher number. So I'm going to place my sensor right at the leaf and directed to the sun. So it's around 4,600 foot candles, which is very high light. Now I'm going to take this plant as well as the meter outside, and we'll test it in outdoor sunlight. So now when I bring it outside, these plants are getting some morning eastern sunlight. So I'm going to place it right there. And then let's place the sensor, watch out, right in the direction of the sun. Right there. And it's getting around 12,000 foot candles. So kind of right at the leaves, pointing at the sun. It's 12,000 foot candles. So it's almost 3 times more light, I guess more light intensity outside compared to inside, and it's the exact same sun. That just goes to show you the difference between natural light indoors versus outdoors. It's way more intense outside, and you can see these leaves are getting some nice sun stressing on them. So I just thought I'd show a quick little comparison from indoor natural light to having bright light outside in the morning from, where is it? Right there, the eastern sun. Now before you even bring them outside, you want to make sure that the nighttime temperatures do not go below 10 degrees Celsius, and I believe that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it above those temperatures consistently. Like if it goes maybe a couple degrees lower than that, that's fine. But once you start getting into, kind of like the 5-6 degrees Celsius, then you run the risk of these getting cold exposures. Now, a couple things that people had said right away is, how do you deal with pests outside? As you can see, or maybe you can't, there is some spider webs already. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's spider mites or anything like that. Just a regular spider might have taken home to this plant. You can see this little seed is also stuck to it. So yeah, my plants indoors have mealybugs, they're spider mites, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of jokingly say that bringing them outside will probably do them better, just because there are some predatory bugs, like if there's thrips, there might be ladybugs and stuff that end up eating those soft-bodied pests. So bringing them outside, you're definitely going to introduce them to pests. But once you start thinking about bringing them in for the fall, then what I like to do is just get an insecticidal soap, spray them down a couple times over the course of, say, like a week. Give them a good watering, rinse them off, and then bring them inside. Now, the big difference between caring for your plant outdoors compared to indoors is not only is the plant receiving higher light, more light, but it's also a lot hotter. So that heat plays into it as well. So you're probably going to have to water more frequently outside than indoors. So inside during the summer, I probably water maybe once every 10 to 14 days. Outside here, depending on the conditions, the sunlight, the temperature, you might have to water every couple days or maybe once every 5 days, something like that. But just pay attention to the leaves. If you can fold them or bend them like a taco, Like this one right here, it's getting a little bit soft. This one needs to be watered. Now, if they are nice and plump and firm, like this one does not need water. Now for the Gollum jade, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you can slightly bend or if they feel a little squishy, then it needs water. This one is quite firm and plump, so it doesn't need any water. And same with this one on the lower leaves. These ones are nice and thick and plump. So this one doesn't need water. However, I am going to give this one some water because you can see the leaves are a little bit bendable. So I'm going to give this one some water. So I'm just going to grab my garden hose here. And now for watering outside, I spray off the entire plant because I want to clean those leaves, give it a good thorough soaking. Water will not harm the leaves outside because there's wind, there's a breeze. It will help dry off the leaves quicker. If it's in full sun, then maybe just throw it in the shade for a couple hours until those leaves dry off. But otherwise, just give it a good soaking here. I'll let that drain out the bottom, but yeah, you're not gonna hurt the plant by spraying it down like this. Now, the problem with water sitting on the leaves indoors is there's no like natural airflow or like air circulation like there is outside. So that's when you start to run into, when the water sits on the leaves, you get like fungal or bacterial issues and powdery mildew and that kind of stuff. But outside, you can spray it off, no problem. And just let that soak through until it comes out the bottom. And I'm just going to soak it maybe a couple more times here. Want some? You want some, Taffy? Okay, watch out. So you can soak it a couple times and then just let it drain through. Let it air dry. Put it in the shade if it's in full sun for a couple hours, and that's it. And that's what I did with this cactus here as well. It does have mealybugs, and I just tossed it outside. Looks like it's got some rot at the top here. So this one, it's not looking the greatest. So I just threw it out here. We'll see how it does over the summer, and perhaps I will propagate this one. So I put it in full shade last week. I can now bring it out into some higher light. Now I'm going to start on this shelf, and then I'll bring the rest of my cacti and succulents outside. So I will put it on this side of the fence just so it gets some morning sunlight. And then the goal is to place it up against my house here in full sun throughout the summer. So I found an example picture online of what I wanted to make. So I think all I'm going to do is just stack up these cinder blocks so that they are like a 3-tier type shelf. I can add these shelves in between these grooves like that, and then I might, cut off a section like this and then just place it in between 2 cinder blocks, and then have the shelf or a shelf on top like that. So that's the plan. I'm going to cut these boards to size, see what it looks like. And like I said, after a few weeks of getting some eastern morning direct sunlight, then I will move the shelf over to a full sun south exposure. So that's the plan. Just going to fire this puppy up. So plug your ears. Okay, let's test it out. Is it going to fit in the slot? Oh, perfect. That is butter. Now I also just finished cutting 4 of these individual little boards, and all I'm gonna do is just lift up these cinder blocks and then put them in something like that so that there is an extra shelf for the plant to sit on right here. I always think about selling my table saw because I use it like maybe once every 5 years, and then I get a project like this and I think to myself, I'm glad I kept it. So never sell any tools because you will always use them. Now I'm just going to place this one through that hole, and here's the masterpiece. It did look a little bit better online, I'm not gonna lie, but when you bring a plant over like this, bam, look at that. That is great. So yeah, I'm gonna bring out the rest of my plants and put them on the shelves. I might keep my jades down here for now. I'm just gonna slide them right over here. Maybe something like that. This guy, once it fills up, then the shelf will obviously look much better. And then this one, you can see there's spider webs on here already. Not too concerned. So something like that. Okay, it actually looks way better when there's plants on it, but I just want to show you guys. This is mealybugs. That's what they look like, little white fuzz. I'm going to, oh yeah, look at them. I've never had mealybugs like this. Like that's ridiculous. So I did bring a spray bottle with 70% isopropyl alcohol. I put maybe 10% of the alcohol and 90% water, and then all I'm doing is spraying off the plant from top to bottom, just like that. And I'm going to rotate it so that I get all those little critters out of there, just like that. Let it drip down into the soil. I'm going to give this one, or give all of these cacti some water. So disgusting. So that's what I mean. Like every one of my plants has mealybugs right now, and I've never had it until like this year. Well, I guess maybe last year it started. Now, I really haven't bought too many plants, but what typically happens is when you buy produce like bananas, mealybugs come in to your house on produce such as bananas and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not only just from like bringing new plants home, but food that you bring from the store and that sort of thing. It does have mealybugs on them as well. So I'm going to spray these down with the water and alcohol solution. Then I'm going to give them a good thorough watering with the hose. Now, because it's outside, I am not going to be keeping the saucer on the plant. I'm just going to let it drain out the bottom like so. Just give them a good soak. And this will be a good spot for them to transition to, like I said, not only the heat, but to full sun at some point. So just let that drip down. Like I said, these jades don't need water, so I'm not going to give them anything. Just going to spray it down like that. When I first brought these ones outside, I'm hoping that they don't get blown over, especially this one. Because it is a little bit top heavy. So yeah, and the shelf itself, it's pretty stable. It's not going to fall over. So this one always flowers for me. I'm surprised it doesn't have any right now, but it gets some beautiful pink flowers at the top like that. So the sun's not out right now, so I'm just going to spray all of these plants down. Just get rid of these mealybugs, and once we start seeing some ladybugs and that kind of thing, they should take care of the mealybug issue, but that doesn't eliminate root mealybugs, mealybugs that are down in the soil. I might have to do like a hydrogen peroxide soak or something, but that not only kills the good microbes and stuff in the soil, but also the bad. So I don't want to kill all the good stuff in there, but in order to get rid of the root mealies, I might have to do that. I'm gonna have to go find some more cacti to fill up this shelf, but I'll definitely provide some updates once these are fully acclimated. Then I can move them over to full south sun exposure. So I think that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching all my videos. Take care, everyone. Bye.